You finally have the thing. The offer came through. The relationship is actually working. The business got its first real traction. And then, quietly, without any dramatic moment you can point to, you find a way to make it stop. Not by blowing it up, by going a little quiet, by suddenly having reasons, by letting just enough time pass that the window closes on its own. That's what I want to talk about today, because almost no one is looking at self-sabotage in the right place. Most people assume it happens at the bottom, when you're stuck, convinced you can't do it, short on confidence. And it does happen there. But some of the most consistent, repeated self-sabotage happens at the top of the arc, right before something genuinely good lands. The job offer comes and you find a reason it's not quite right. The relationship starts feeling real and you manufacture a fight that probably didn't need to happen. The client says yes and you go mysteriously quiet on the follow-through. It's not random, it has a shape. And if self-sabotage were purely a confidence problem, you'd expect it to ease as evidence accumulated. More wins, less doubt. That's not what happens. For a lot of people, it intensifies as success gets closer, precisely because the stakes of crossing the line are highest right there. Think about the last time you were genuinely at the threshold of something, not working toward it in the abstract, but actually close, where one more conversation, one more day of follow-through, one more decision would take you somewhere new. What happened in your body in that moment? For a lot of people, it's not excitement that shows up first. It's a specific kind of dread they can't quite explain. That dread is a signal. Understanding what it's actually signaling changes how you deal with this completely. Here's what most people don't know about how the brain handles novelty. It doesn't evaluate whether something new is good or bad first. It evaluates whether it's familiar. Unfamiliar registers as uncertain. Uncertain registers as potentially dangerous. And your nervous system's entire job, its evolutionary reason for existing, is to keep you alive, not happy. So when something genuinely new approaches, a level of income you've never sustained, a relationship that's actually functioning, a version of your work that people are responding to, the alarm fires. Not because it's bad, because it's outside the known range. Success, in that moment, feels like a threat, not intellectually, physiologically. Your body doesn't know the difference between walking into a dangerous room and walking into a life that's bigger than the one it's already mapped. The amygdala, your brain's alarm system, doesn't have a category for unfamiliar but good. Unfamiliar activates threat detection regardless. What follows is a cascade of responses that are completely appropriate in the face of actual danger. Heart rate shifts, attention narrowing, an urgent pull to act or withdraw. But when that same response fires because of a promising job offer or a relationship that's going unusually well, acting on those impulses doesn't protect you. It dismantles something worth keeping. And here's the part that makes this so hard to fight with willpower alone. When the alarm fires at high volume, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, reasoning, and long-term thinking, loses influence. You're in threat response mode. Threat response mode doesn't wait around for nuanced cost-benefit analysis. It acts or it retreats. So the person trying to think their way through the self-sabotage impulse is working with reduced access to exactly the cognitive functions they need. Insight alone almost never stops the pattern. You can know intellectually that you do this and still execute it with precision. The pattern doesn't live in the part of the brain that insight reaches. That's not a character flaw. That's a nervous system doing exactly what it was built to do. Now here's the part that tends to land hardest. Every person has an internal set point, a range of outcomes the nervous system considers normal, a certain level of income, a certain quality of relationship, a certain amount of recognition. Go too far below that range, and the system tries to climb back up. Go too far above it, and the system tries to pull you back down. This is why lottery winners famously return to prior happiness levels within a few years. Why people who grew up in chaotic homes sometimes create chaos in otherwise stable relationships. Not because they want it, but because calm feels so unfamiliar it registers as the wrong setting. The ceiling isn't made of weakness. It's made of familiarity. That set point forms through accumulated experience, not conscious decision. If you grew up in a house where money was always scarce and stressful, a sustained period of financial ease can feel profoundly wrong, even when everything about it is right. If the relationships you saw modeled were volatile, steadiness can read as boredom or as the calm before something bad. None of this is deterministic. The set point shifts, but it shifts slowly through experience, not through deciding you want things to be different. You can also inherit a ceiling, not genetically, experientially. The child who watched a parent refuse every promotion because it wasn't worth the stress might find themselves, 20 years later, generating a specific kind of low-grade chaos right when their own next opportunity arrives, with no idea where the impulse came from. So what does this actually look like in real life? Forget the dramatic version. Real self-sabotage is much quieter than that, and much easier to explain away. The consultant who lands the biggest client of her career and takes 3 weeks to send the contract, telling herself she's been overwhelmed. The man 6 months into the healthiest relationship of his life who becomes distant, not because anything went wrong, but because nothing did. The founder who gets her first real press coverage and immediately pivots to a completely different product, scattering the momentum she just built. In each case, a story is available. She was overwhelmed. He needed space. The pivot was strategic. Some of those stories have truth in them. What makes it self-sabotage is the timing. It happens exactly when the ceiling is being approached. There's also a harder version to catch, which I'd call structural sabotage. This is where you build systems that functionally prevent you from reaching the ceiling at all, keeping your prices just low enough that growth always stalls at the same revenue point. Choosing partners who are emotionally unavailable in just the right way to guarantee eventual distance. Taking on enough low-priority work that there's never quite enough bandwidth for the high-priority thing to fully land. These structures feel like circumstances from the inside. The structure is often invisible to the person who built it. And then there's preemptive sabotage, where you don't even wait for the ceiling to appear. The business idea you never fully committed to, so if it fails, it doesn't fully count. The relationship you kept at arm's length from the start, so the eventual distance feels neutral rather than like a loss. The project you described to everyone as just an experiment, while secretly hoping it would be much more. Hedging everything isn't caution. At a certain frequency, it's a system designed to ensure you never have to feel the dread of the threshold, because you never actually reach it. Every act of self-sabotage comes pre-packaged with a narrative. And the narrative is usually coherent, detailed, and well-matched to the facts. That's what makes it so effective. I turned down that job because the culture didn't feel right, could be genuine discernment or self-sabotage. I ended that relationship because we wanted different things, could be wisdom or retreat. The content of the story doesn't tell you which it is. The timing and the pattern do. A few questions that cut through the narrative faster than analyzing it. Does this decision move you closer to or further from what you said you wanted 6 months ago? Not what you're telling yourself you want now. What you said you wanted before the ceiling appeared. Have you been here before, where you had something good in your hands and found a reason to let it go? And this one, does part of you feel relieved by this decision? Not at peace, relieved. That distinction matters. Relief, in this context, is often the nervous system exhaling because the threat of the unfamiliar has passed. It feels like clarity. It isn't always. One more tell. The sabotage narrative tends to arrive fast, unusually fast, fully formed, completely convincing. It has to. Its job is to make the retreat feel so obviously right that you don't pause long enough to question it. Genuine discernment usually takes some discomfort, some real wrestling. When a decision feels immediately and completely obvious right at the moment of a threshold, that's exactly when to slow down and look harder. The standard response when you catch this pattern in yourself is shame. You had something good and you ruined it. You always do this. You're your own worst enemy. That story isn't just wrong. It's counterproductive in a specific way. Shame produces a contracted, low-energy, hypervigilant internal state, which happens to be the same state the nervous system is most comfortable producing when it's trying to keep you small. Shame doesn't help you climb out of this. It confirms the system's prediction that you can't. What actually helps is learning to recognize the dread as a signal, not a verdict. When you feel that specific, hard-to-explain resistance right at the moment, something good is close. That's data. The discomfort isn't telling you to retreat. It's telling you that you're at the edge of your known range, which means you're exactly where growth actually lives. You don't have to force your way through it. You also don't have to obey it. Start smaller than you think. Look back across your last 2 or 3 years, not at the most recent incident, but at the pattern. Where does the reset keep happening? What level do things reliably return to after a period of growth? That's where your ceiling currently sits. Knowing that doesn't fix it, but it names it. And named patterns are much harder to execute unconsciously. The next time you feel that dread at the threshold, just pause before the story gets too convincing. Ask yourself, is this discernment or is this familiar? The answer won't always be obvious, but the question alone slows down the automatic response, and that's where the work begins.